Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Okay, so this recording purposely to cover lab 4 for our computer networks, CSN6224. So in this lab session, we will cover basic Cisco IOS command and also routing. So basically, we'll look into what are the commands that you can use when you wanted to configure your routers, okay, and eventually we want to also see a different type of routing. Okay, so there are three different type of routing that we'll cover. The first one is that we will cover the static route, then we will also cover on the default route, and also we will cover on the dynamic route, specifically on RIP lah. Okay, so for today's session, basically what you need to do is that you have to go through the lab sheet, and you need to actually identify what are the commands. Okay, so this one you can get references from books, from maybe the documents that for the command given for Cisco, or perhaps you can also use document like that I've already shared, which is the what you call it, cheat sheet lah. So you can have all that available to you, right? So to start with, okay, so we have this different type of configuration mode. Okay, once you enter your packet tracer, basically you will be prompt using this prompt lah. You will see that this is what we call user execution mode lah. Okay, with this you can do like show IP route and so forth. Okay, but basically you need to enable here lah. Then you will have the privilege mode. Okay, so we'll see how you can enter the privilege mode, and then perhaps you wanted to be much more configuring in detail. Okay, for instance, you want to configure the interface and so forth. Okay, so you will start to execute with much more in detail lah. So this is the global configuration mode. Okay, router configuration mode and interface configuration mode. Okay, and then sub interface configuration mode, right? So how you can start with this is that you need to go from where you have the router. Okay, you can start type enable, then if you have password, then you have to enter the password lah, else you just enter, right? Then if you want to configure the terminal, you start to type configure terminal, right? Then you'll be entering into this config mode lah. And then if you want to do configure on the router, okay, so router for instance RIP, and you are currently in the configuration router, and if you want to configure the interface, okay, so you need to identify what is the interface. For instance, you know that you wanted to configure the interface for fast Ethernet 0/0, so you have to put interface space fast Ethernet 0/0. Okay, and then now you can configure the interface. Okay, so let me bring in our packet tracer. Okay, so if say that you wanted to start with your router, right? So perhaps what you can do, as I mentioned previously, so maybe you can go to the network device and then the routers, and maybe choose one of the router. What I've used before is the second one from my right hand side. Okay, so you introduce this, right? Basically it's currently booting, so if you try to left hand click, you will see that it's still booting the system lah. Okay, right? So once you have this, okay, so you will see that would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog. You can say yes or no, maybe no. Okay, so then you just enter. Okay, so now you are in the normal router mode. Okay, they call it user execution mode. Okay, we want to go to privilege execution mode. Okay, so what you can do is that you start to type router enable. Let me just put this into a smaller view. Okay, right. So if you want to go from this mode, okay, to the privilege mode, so what you need to do is type enable lah, right? So now you are in the privilege mode lah. Okay, if you wanted to go more, okay, so you can if you want to configure, so you type configure terminal, right? But before that, you will see that if you don't know which or what commands that you want to do, is that you can use the question mark. Okay, so that type or you just put question mark and it give you what would be the next command that you can execute lah. Okay, say that I wanted to show, I have show kan? Okay, show what? Okay, you don't know what's the next command, so you just show then space the question mark, show IP, say show IP, then I also question mark what is next that I need to have. Maybe show IP brief. Do you have IP brief over here? Show IP interface, interface. Okay, or perhaps if you want to be much more looks like more professional, what you can do is that after you have typed some of the text, okay, so you can just tap, because it will identify if there's no conflict lah. Okay, so interface, it doesn't have any other word that similar to that, similar to if you put SS, okay, it will complete SSH, okay, it will complete the word itself. Okay, so when you do show IP interface, for instance, you will get this information lah. Okay, currently everything is down and so forth. Okay, so you can go in depth, okay, but as we go later, we'll see that we will be able to see that. Okay, so this one I've already mentioned lah. So if you don't know what you want to do next, is that you can actually do a question mark lah. Okay, so these are the things that can actually help you to do quick setting. Other than you can finish up the sentence, you can also actually use some shortened form. Okay, for instance, if I end this, okay, and exit actually. So for termination, you can use this Control Shift 6 X. Okay, Control Shift. Okay, so you can use this Control Shift 6. Okay, and then you will get back to this one. Okay, so for instance, instead of configure terminal, exit also. Okay, here instead of enable, okay, you can just type en. Okay, it will enter the privilege mode. Then configure terminal, of instead of configure terminal, okay, what you can do is you can just type configure terminal. Okay, but you need to know lah. Okay, so this is what you can do, right? So the next, if you go on, you will see that you can do something like this lah. Okay, exit first, and then show. Okay, instead of show, I just show running config. Okay, just using the tab, you'll be able to see. Okay, so this is the running config. Okay, so these are the information that already saved in the router itself lah. Okay, so right now most of the thing is actually empty lah, right? Then you can also type show start Okay, startup config, right? So it doesn't have any at this moment. Okay. Also, just now we do show IP interface brief. Okay, so this one mentioned to you that it has two interface, Ethernet 0/0 and Ethernet 0/1. IP address is unassigned, and actually the interface is actually down lah. Okay, so you will see that both are down, status down, protocol also down. Okay, so this we need to change later on. Okay, and then if you want to save, you type write memory. Okay, so this one will actually save lah. So any configuration that you have done, it will be saved, and you can actually reload it with the same configuration if you save it on the router itself lah. Okay, or you can use it, show copy running config, startup config. Okay, and then other things that you can do, so you can configure the host name. Okay, basically we are already in the configure terminal. Just type host, okay, so again we have to go to the configure terminal, then host name lab A, see it's a lab A. Okay, then you enter. So what you can see is that now instead of router here, okay, you have lab A, okay, as the host name, right? Then you can and then perhaps configure terminal again, then no IP domain no IP domain lookup. Okay, and write memory. Alright. Okay, so if you are stuck, okay, so you can actually use Control Shift 6, okay, and then X lah. Okay, other than that, moving on, you can do the configure terminal. Conf T again, then you want the CONFT configure terminal, then banner log in. Where's my twinkle? This one. Welcome to CSN6224 class. Okay, so no error, so means it's okay lah. Then and write memory. Right. Okay, so now if you come back to the this setting, for instance, where is it? This one, the running the startup config. Show startup config. Show startup config. Okay. So it doesn't have any encryption yet. No fast Ethernet. But the banner, you see, is already entered into the memory. So banner login. Later on, when you start, you will see that banner lah when you reboot. Okay, and then you can also do this set password. Enable password. Okay, so configure terminal and then enable password. Say that 1 2 3 4, right? Then write memory. So if you reboot this, for instance, okay, say that you start this, turn this off, okay, and then turn this on again, and go to the CLI. So it's now rebooting. Okay, so you have to wait for it, and then when you enter, okay, left A, right? So you need to actually type enable to start. Then it will ask you for your password. So your password just now is 1 2 3 4. Okay, so enter. Okay, so now you have actually set up the password, but it doesn't give the banner. Banner login, it should it doesn't show here. Does it show? No. Okay, maybe later I'll try to show it to you. Okay, then you can start to configure the interface lah. Okay, so in this router, okay, so as usual you will see that you will have this interface, right? So you have this fast Ethernet 0/0 and fast Ethernet 0/1. Okay, so what you can do is that now you can start to configure your terminal. Alright, okay, so you can configure the terminal and so forth. Okay, these are the command. Basically you need to identify what is the interface, then what is the IP address. Okay, then this no shutdown basically is where you need to turn up the interface lah. Okay, then write memory and so forth. Okay, then to configure router serial interface, this is how you can configure it. Configure terminal interface serial, what is the serial name, okay, IP address and no shutdown. Okay, and also for your loopback, okay, so you can configure terminal interface loopback and so forth. Okay, so we can directly jump to the exercise. Okay, so now you have this diagram lah. Okay, so what you need to do is that perhaps you have to execute or try to repeat this diagram. So let me just use this router, this second router. Okay, so say that this is router 1, this is router 2, right? So that you don't confuse, so you can edit router 1, router 2. Okay, and then choose this for your connection, automatic. Okay, so but I would say that is to make sure that you have this exact interface, use this lah. So choose this, then you will choose which one lah. Fast Ethernet 0/1 connected to the fast Ethernet 0/1 on the other router. Okay, and then you can introduce a switch. Okay, try this switch 295024. Okay, another one over here. Okay, and then this one you can use automatic because you already set this. So there's only 2 interface for the router, so you will choose the other interface lah. So no problem with this, right? And then introduce your 2 PC, PC1. Okay, says that this one you want to have PC1 then PC2, PC11 over here, and PC22. So you want to change this PC11 and PC22 right? And then use this auto connection, okay, to connect this, right? Okay, sometimes when you have this orange, it's actually still processing at the background. So to fast forward, you can just push this button for it to finish up. Okay, so now everything is green. Okay, so it looks like everything is on par, but basically your network is still red over here, right? So you need to configure. So network 1 address, okay, so where is network 1, where is network 2, where is network 3. Okay, so here is network 1, here is network 2, and here is network 3. So basically which one? Okay, so you can start to label this with color, right? The yellow one, perhaps you make a box around this area, right? Okay, and then you choose another color, say green, to make a box around this area, right? And then you will have another color around this box, say purple here. Okay, so you will choose this. So basically what we are having is that we will have you can choose this for your node. Okay, so this is your network 1, network 1, and the IP address later on it will be 192.168.1.0. that will be the network lah. Okay, so this is network 1. Control CV, so this will be your network 2, and CV, this will be your network 3. So network 2 will become 192.168.2.0. This is your network. Then your network 3 will be 192.168.3.0. Okay, alright. Okay, so this is just labeling. This is the network. Okay, so basically the yellow one, anything that you have to do is that you have to configure the this router, okay, and also this PC using this address 192.168.1, then dot any number after that between 0 to 255. Same goes for this purple one. Okay, so you will need to configure these two interface of your router 192.168.2. Anything from 0 to 255. Then for this one, you need to configure the IP address within this network 3 192.168.3. anything from 0 to 255. Sorry. Okay, so that's why it says here network mask. Okay, so the network mask, okay, it will use 255, 255, 255.0. Okay, so you will learn later lah why we have this network mask 255, 255, 255.0. Okay, so now you need to go to router 1. Okay, so on router 1 you need to execute this router configuration. Just now we have this router configuration. Where is it? This one, something like this. You need to put your IP address, then you have to do no shutdown. So for this for the first one, for router 1 over here, what you need to do is that you have to go to your CLI, okay, and then you need to start to enable or configure terminal conft, okay, and then what is the interface, right? We know that your interface just now would be we want to configure router 1 with this network. What is it? This one should be router 2, sorry. Okay, router 1 and router 2. Okay, so configure static route on router 1 and router 2. Okay, so this is the static route. Okay, so you need to configure later on, but before that you need to actually give an interface lah. Okay, that you may have to configure this using your command line interface, or you can also do that using this what they call GUI lah. Okay, say that we have we want to configure this say this interface, okay, with this network. Okay, so it's FA00. Okay, so you can go to FA00, okay, and then turn on this port status, right? Put the IP address as 192.168.1 maybe 254. Okay, 254. and then this one it will automatically give you 255.255.255.0 254. Okay, so I think the best thing is that I try to set the IP address from the beginning. Okay, so this network we suggest to use 192.168.2.1, right? Router 1 it say we put 2.2 lah because we want to be consistent with here. Okay, and then for this is for FA01. Later on you have to configure. Then for FA01 it will be 2.1. Okay, so see that the network is 192.168.2. Then the 0 can be changed to any numbers between 0 to 254. So this interface is FA01 we put 2.2. This one we put 2.1. Okay, and then for this one is it been given or not, the IP address? If not, we can suggest lah. Okay, so perhaps this one we say that if 3.0 this one 3.0. okay, so for this one we need to set also IP address for this interface, and it should be named or the label should be 192.168.1. okay, for instance say 1.254. okay, and the other one over here, okay, for this interface is connected to the green one, it should be 3.254 for instance. Okay, then for this IP address down here you can just put 192.168.1.1. okay, and then this one 1.2. okay, then this one can be 3.1 then this one 3.2. okay, so now we have all the IP address. So what you can do now is that you can configure this one, go to this PC, then type 192.168.1.1. The subnet mask will be here. Okay, you close this down. Same thing over here, go to desktop 192.168.1.2, right? Then this PC 3.1 192.168.3.1 then subnet mask automatically, and finally this one you type 192.168.3.2. okay, then you need to configure this IP address for this router. Okay, and then you have to turn on this interface lah. So now we can go to here, right? Is FA01, right? So FA01 for this interface, the turn this on, you will see that is it will be changing to some other colors when both lah interface are on. So you type the 192.168.1.254. okay, sorry, this should be 01 192.168.2.2. And then the FA00 is 1.254. okay, done. Then go to router 2, do the same thing. Okay, go to config, you see that FA01, turn this on. Okay, and then type 192.168.2.1. Okay, and FA00 would be, turn this on, and it will be 192.168.3.254. Okay, something not right on the router. Maybe we haven't take on the interface. Then why we still have red? Okay, so maybe you can just delete this first, this link. Okay, use the automatic one, connect from here to here. Okay, so now it's okay lah. Right. Then you can start lah to do your ping. Okay, you can do ping by going to your PC over here, and then choose this command prompt. Okay, and type ping 192.168.1.1, which is himself, right? Okay, and then PC2 you can also 1.2. Okay, and I think you will also able to ping the 1.254. Okay, so meaning that within the yellow area, which is the network 1, okay, so everything is active lah. Okay, so if you are from PC 11, right now I don't think you can go out from this yellow one lah. Okay, so this for the green one, you can start to do ping 192.168.3.1 himself. Okay, and then 3.2 PC22, then the router 3.254. Okay, you able to do that. If you try to ping 192.168.2.1, you won't be able ping 2.1 2.1, which is this interface. Okay, that facing the purple one. Okay, so you won't be able. Same goes for the other lah. Okay, this is because you haven't do any routing, right? Because it doesn't know how to get this packet to the network 2 and even to network 1 lah. Okay, so you have to do some routing with that lah. And also you need to do some perhaps what they call it, you need to also do some one more lah, that perhaps later on I'll show to you lah. Optionally you can try to send packet lah, so send from here to here. Okay, so success, you can send from here to here, success. You can send from here to here, success. Okay, you can send also from here to here, successful between here and here. But when you want to send from here to here, this one will have an error lah, fail. Okay, you're unable to actually do because you don't have any routing. Okay, so the next step is that you need to do this, what they call static route. Okay, so you can actually configure this in this also, static and RIP. Okay, and also you can do CLI lah, so the other way around. Maybe I show you for this one. So for static, you need to configure lah the IP address. Okay, so basically you want to make this router, means that anything that you need to go to network 3, you have to pass through this 192.168.1.254. Okay, so you will be able to actually done that lah. Okay, so if you want to get to the network 0, okay, what is the network that you are from this router? At router 1, you wanted to get into green area. Okay, so if you are here, Okay, on the router one, what you need to do is that you have to pass through this, right, to this interface. That's why here, because mine is the other way round, so this one should be 2.1. Okay, so your network that you want to actually access is network 3. So you type 192.168.30.0. This is your network. The mask will be 255.255.255.255.255.250. Okay, and then similar to this, and then this one I did interchange with that. Okay, so now it should access to here, meaning that if you are here and you wanted to get to here, you need to do this routing to using this interface. So you have to, next hop will be 192.168.2.1. okay, then once it's ready, you add, right? Then the same thing for router 2, right? Go to static. Okay, and then you will need to identify, basically you are currently router here, you're able to connect to green and purple, but you are unable to connect to the yellow. So the network is network 1. So 192.168.1.0 is the network. The mask will be 255.255.255.0, and the next hop will be this one lah, 192.168.2.2, right? Okay, so this one you add successfully. Okay, and then you can actually go to the CLI and type there show IP route for this router. Okay, so you can go to the CLI, then basically here is the command lah. Just now we use this GUI, but you can actually use the the CLI. Okay, you use this command IP route 192.168.3.0 space 255.255.0 space 192.168.2.1. okay, and then what you can do is that you can try lah, show IP route. Oh, you have to exit show IP route. Okay, so you can see that similar to what I have right now. Instead, the IP address is being interchanged lah. So you will have that one is C. C is actually connected. So here mentioned is connected. So this one also connected. What it means is that if you are at router 1, okay, you'll be able to connect to 1.0, which is this one. Okay, router 1, it has a physical interface to this 1.0, and also connected to 2.0, which is over here, 2.0. Okay, and then if you wanted to go to router 3, okay, so you need to pass through 2.1. okay, so 2.1. okay, so that is what you can see. Same thing, okay, for the router 2. okay, what you can do is that show, exit first, show IP route. Okay, same thing. Instead the other way around, the connected one is the purple and the green, which is 2.0 and 3.0, 2.0 and 3.0. And if you want to go to the yellow one is 1.0, you have to pass through the 2.2. okay, so with that, okay, if you try to send messages, okay, from here to here, it will be successful. From here to here, fail. Okay, so one thing that we haven't done is that we didn't do the gateway over here, right? So you go back to this one. What is the gateway? The gateway will be this lah. So 30.254. 254. Okay. And then this one also the same interface, 254. Okay, so if you try now, you can actually send from here to here successfully. Just now it's unsuccessful, right? From here to here successfully, right? But you still unable to send from here to here, okay, because we haven't set the default gateway, right? Because this one also you need to do some routing lah. So this one would be 1.254 1.254. Okay, and also for PC2 the gateway also 1.254. okay, so right now supposedly you be able to send to each and every node. Okay, so successful. Here to here also successful. Okay, so this is where you have done the static route lah. Okay, okay, so static route done. Then default route. Okay, so almost the same, but now for router 1 you do static route, but router 2, this one router 2, okay, this one should change to 2.2. This one should be 2.1. okay, I also need to change now. This one should be 2.1 and this one should be 2.2 lah. And if you do show the IP route, this one should be the other way around lah, 2.1 and this one should be 2.2. okay, so this one I've already changed. Okay, so for static route, okay, static route, default route basically is a special case of a static route. Okay, so you just want to change for the router 2. Okay, so at router 2 what you need to do is that you can do the same IP setting. Okay, except that the address right now, instead of the network that you unable to identify, okay, but now you just change to 0.0.0, 0.0.0. okay, so go to static. Just now you have this network, right, just now. So what you need to do is that you have to remove this. Okay, so what you need to do next is that you type this one 0.0.0.0. the mask also 0.0.0.0, but the next hop should be 192.168.2.1. okay, so this one at router 2. okay, this is at router 2. Router 2. okay, so it's been connected, but if you want to go to it, router 2 2.2, sorry, it should be 2.2. okay, so you know the purple and the green, you don't know the yellow, but it's just like you canvas blank lah, meaning that anything else from the purple and the green one, you just look at this any of this network. okay, and it should be pointed at this 2.2, right? okay, so if you done that, basically you can do the same, show IP route. okay, but for instance here, if you do the show IP route and exit, show IP route, so it hasn't configured yet, but I didn't save, is it? Oh, I didn't save. So 0.0.0.0, mask is 0.0.0.0, then 192.168.2.2. okay, so you need to add 2.2, right? 2.2 add. okay, and then go to CLI, you see exit, show IP route. okay, so now you have this default route. okay, so default route, it's a special static route, so that it has this star S star. right? So you have actually configured this, and to confirm that you have done it properly, okay, so you can actually try lah. Send from here to here, successful. Send from here to here, also successful. Send from here to here, also successful. Okay, so that is for static route lah. Okay, and finally you have the dynamic route. Okay, so basically dynamic route means that it can actually automatically identify the network lah, for if you don't know. What you need to do is that you just need to identify what is the network that being connected towards it in RIP. So you can use this CLI, also you can use this interface GUI. Okay, so just now you have the static route. What you need to do now is that you have to remove this. Okay, and if you go back to this static route, exit, show static, show IP route, you don't have the routing, so you are not able to send packet to the other network that is not connected. Okay, so for instance, if you send from here to here, you will see that now send from here to here, now it failed. Just now okay, right? So now it's failed, right? So you need to configure this. Okay, so how do you configure this? Okay, so you go either using the CLI, or you can go to here, go to RIP. So what is the network that you are connected to? Okay, so router 1, basically here is the yellow and the purple, right? Okay, so the network, you enter the network, the one that connected. Okay, this router connected to this yellow, this router connected to this purple. So you type 192.168.1.0. That's the network. Same goes for the purple. Okay, 192.168.2.0. The network, not the IP address. Okay, so once you have done that, basically you will have to wait for a few maybe a few minutes or second. Okay, and then because right now it's trying to get the routing table complete lah for all the whole network. Okay, so exit, so you can type show IP route. Okay, so it's not yet settled down lah. Okay, so you can try this. Okay, and then if you do the same thing, it's still not there. It takes time a bit for the static route, for the dynamic route. Okay, so but you have configured RIP, okay, with this 192.168.1.0, 192.168.2.0. Okay, and then same goes from here. What you can do is that go to config, static here, you have to delete first, remove. Okay, and then enter what is the network that actually connected to it. Okay, so 192.168.2.0 add, and 3.0. 192.168.3.0 add. Okay, so close this first, and then go to here first, static, no, nothing. Okay, alright. Okay, supposedly right now, if you do the show IP route, you will have something like this lah. So let me just try to go to CLI, exit, exit. Okay, so now you see that you have the static route lah, the dynamic route in RIP. Okay, RIP being identified as R. Okay, so you will have this RIP. Also for here, you will have your RIP. Okay, so you have your RIP. Okay, so this is automatically lah. You didn't configure where it should be route. Okay, from here, if you want to find the network yellow, you don't need to configure lah. You just enter that for this router this is the network, the rest you have to find it automatically. Okay, so with that you will be or successfully done with the routing. Okay, so for instance, question number 2, what the 3 different type of routing that you can execute? You have the static route, default route, and also the dynamic route. Okay, perhaps you need to explain what's the difference. Static basically manual lah, you configure it manually, means that you know the network configuration lah. You know that this interface is IP address, this network you know, right? For default route means that perhaps you don't know this, right? You just put anything that not within this yellow and purple, okay, just go through this interface, and they will by default they will find it for you. Then for the dynamic, basically you enter these two and it will actually perform a table lah. Okay, so we'll see later that you have a different type of table in RIP and OSPF. Okay, why the routing is important? Because it needs to get from one device to another device. Okay, so routing important. Travel from one network to another network lah, another network. Without routing, communication would only be within the same network, so you cannot go across a different network. So yellow is one network, purple is one network, green is one network. Basically, we'll say that if you have a router, one leg is considered as one network, another leg is another network. So if you have another leg over here, okay, or interface, so it will have another network. Okay, so when do you usually use the default route? Okay, does not need full routing information because perhaps it doesn't know. Okay, and the destination network is unknown or not in the routing table. So basically you don't actually know the whole network. And the router should send all unknown traffic to a single next hop. Okay, which is perhaps if you are here, you send it to this interface, or to simplify routing in a small network. Okay, sometimes you just want to make it simpler, so you just do the default route. Okay, so with that, I think I've completed sharing with you lab 4. Okay, so perhaps you can try this. And if you unable to do success or unable or successfully get the setting wrong, what you can do is try to troubleshoot, right? So thank you very much, and see you on the next session. Bye.